Hi, I am John Hoffman, and I am the author of Getting to Healthy, Making the Transition to Eating Real Food, available on Amazon.com. You have probably heard the advice, you can eat anything in moderation. But is this true when it comes to healthy eating? Can I indulge in eating a little ice cream, pizza, or a few chips whenever I want if I just eat a small portion and don't pig out? Will this really hurt my health? While moderation may be good advice for some things, when it comes to sticking to a healthy diet, the short answer is, for most people, no. The reason for this is simple. Most processed foods, fast foods, and junk foods contain highly refined ingredients, including added sugar, salt, and oil, which stimulate the pleasure centers of the brain. This leads to food addictions that cannot be satisfied by giving in to them, even on occasion. It is well known that big food processors employ scientists whose job is to tweak the combination of ingredients in their products to maximize the product's pleasure-stimulating effect on the human brain. 3 of these substances are particularly notable. Sugar, which includes highly refined white flour and refined carbohydrates, salt, and fat, including oil. Chocolate chip cookies, ice cream, fast food, and French fries are loaded with all 3, which, when combined into one product, spike the pleasure center of the brain even more powerfully than does the sum of the 3 individually. Unfortunately, our food environment is overflowing with such products. Over 70% of the food in our grocery stores is highly processed food. Ads for junk food constantly bombard us using every possible advertising platform. Fast food restaurants dot almost every corner of our cities. And what would our celebrations and social gatherings be like without our tables that are overflowing with pleasure foods? So, what's the harm in eating a little pleasure food? It comes down to 2 things. First, these artificially created products are nutritionally deficient, provide only concentrated calories that ultimately expand your waistline, and increase your chances of developing serious diseases over the long term. They can harm your body in ways that will surprise you, as you can find out by reading Dr. Joel Fuhrman's masterful and well-documented book, Fast Food Genocide: How Processed Food is Killing Us and What We Can Do About It. Personally, I don't want to put anything into my body that will harm it and fail to nourish it. Second, even though we talk about junk food as food, making it appear more innocent and innocuous than it really is, such foods are powerfully addictive. If you don't believe this, try this experiment. Go 2 weeks without eating any junk food, fast food, or highly processed or packaged foods. Most people fail this experiment because they cannot give up even one of their favorite processed foods, such as pizza, burgers, cookies, soda, chips, or ice cream, for even a few days. Biologically, we don't need junk food to survive. In fact, our bodies will be much better off without it. Yes, we need food to live, but that doesn't mean we have to eat junk food. We also need air to live, but that doesn't mean we have to breathe the air from the end of a lit cigarette. Are we like the smokers who say, "I can give up smoking anytime I want to, I just don't want to," when we tell ourselves, "I can give up junk food anytime I want to, I just don't want to"? Because food addiction is so ubiquitous and socially acceptable, we do not even see it as an addiction because everyone around us is also addicted. Giving in to addictions on occasion only reawakens a sleeping giant and its vice-like grip on our brain. It floods us with powerful urges that all too often lead to relapse. Alcoholics cannot have just a drink on occasion. They must abstain completely. There is no such thing as drinking in moderation for an alcoholic, or using drugs on occasion for a heroin addict. Although there are a few people who, for whatever reason, are not as afflicted by food addictions as others, people who can occasionally eat junk food without risking relapse, most cannot. For that reason, eating junk food in moderation is a myth. You always risk partial or total relapse. One potato chip or one chocolate chip cookie is never enough, and the memory of how good junk food tasted yesterday will preoccupy your thoughts today and tomorrow and weaken your resolve. So, when it comes to your health, eating junk food in moderation is not the key. Total abstinence is. That's a hard truth for most people to accept, but nonetheless, that is the way it is. Until next time, thanks for watching.